a correction of a horrific past that cannot be undone. But from 9 October 2023, the history books will read that Imam Abdullah Haron did not die from a heart attack after falling down a flight of stairs. It will read that the anti-apartheid activist, Muslim Cleric, husband and father was tortured to death by the apartheid state during his solitary confinement for 4 months in 1969. Judge Daniel Thulare set aside the findings of a magistrate of the inquest in 1970, saying, among others, all involved at the time conspired to wash their hands clean of those responsible for the murder.
The cause of death of Imam Abdullah Haron is attributable to the cumulative effect of injuries under torture, in particular a combination of severe systematic physiological stresses, including crush injury syndrome, precipitated by complications of blunt soft tissue injury, with the possibility of pre-existing coronary artery disease as a contributing factor.
The Imam spoke out against the apartheid regime and actively worked to fight for a free and just society. He was arrested by the man identified as the lead interrogator, Sergeant Johannes Petrus Francois van Wyk, known as Spyker. During the reopened inquest of November 2022, experts testified that the Imam's injuries were as a result of severe trauma to the body. Spyker van Wyk, who died in 1990, was one of the 6 men who tortured Haron relentlessly.
Being repeatedly punched with fists and kicked with booted feet, being repeatedly prodded or pressed either with the knuckles, with the point of a truncheon or similar object while standing against and facing the wall, or lying on the stomach, on his lower back, or whilst lying on his back, or while standing with his back against the wall, being repeatedly given vicious strokes with a truncheon or similar object on the thighs from the front, back and sides, being repeatedly kicked and thumped upon or stamped on, either whilst standing against the wall or lying on the ground, including on his inner thigh, calf and on his legs, being repeatedly kicked or struck or thumped with a truncheon or similar object on his tendon and his shoulders.
The family never accepted the outcome of the original inquest. They always maintained that the Imam was murdered. Now, 54 years later, the High Court could set the record straight.
The judge helped to give the necessary insight as to how this had occurred. And of course, the witnesses, the experts that helped to inform the whole process contributed towards this. So it was always our feeling that, as we had said, he was killed, and there it is. So in a sense, it brings some sort of closure to ourselves as a family, to our community, and we only hope that our other cases that are still in the queue will have a similar outcome. So we only feel that if only this could have happened decades ago instead of 54 years down the line, and if only we could have prosecuted each of those murderers who basically died, and in one case, as we had heard, the date is unknown. But be that as it may, I think it has brought some sort of solace to our hearts that we were always correct.
All involved in the Imam's torture and subsequent death have since passed, save for one guard whom the family says it does not want to pursue further. Judge Thulare also ruled, among others, that the conduct of the 3 doctors involved in the matter deserves serious rebuke from the court and referred it to the South African Medical and Dental Council for its attention, albeit posthumously. The National Prosecuting Authority welcomes the outcome and says investigators went beyond the call of duty to assist the court.
All the parties worked together. The main issue was to uncover the truth, to ensure that the wrongs that were done then are corrected and help to rewrite history, and especially, but the most important thing is for the family, for them to get the truth of what happened to their father.
The Haron family is working on a biography of the late Imam, who never gave up information about his contacts or plans to ensure his story of bravery will never be forgotten. Mariska Botha, SABC News, Cape Town.